Now we've got our torso, hips and head, it's time that we have a go at the arm. To do that, we're going to start with this upper portion just here. And believe it or not, we're going to use a cube. We want this to be rounded like a cylinder, but to make the two pieces that connect, it's going to be much easier with a cube. So that's where we'll start. So we'll have a new cube. And then I'm going to put my move tool on. I'm going to put it roughly where I want it. And then I'm going to name this first of all. So it's going to be L underscore upper arm. The L denotes that this is for the left arm. And it is the right arm as we look at it, but the characters, it's their left. So that's how we're going to name it. Next, what we need to do is just get this scaled up. So we're going to scale that uniformly to about there. And then we're going to scale it that way. And we're only trying to aim between here and here. These bits that come off are what we're going to add. So that gets us started. Then what we need to do is go into inputs, polycube 4. And subdivision's height, we are going to change to 3. And this is the magic part here that's going to allow us to have the two parts of the upper arm and the lower arm to have the kind of elbow joint. Now that we've got that, we just need to round this out. So let's go into this view here. We're going to go into edge mode. I'm going to get that and that and that and that. So we've got the 4 corners as we look at it there. Go into scale mode and we're just going to scale it in on this axis here. And you'll see that that gives us a fairly round shape. And that's pretty much all we need to do. So what we'll do now is put this into object mode and we're going to duplicate it, Control D, and we're just going to move it over. And we're going to name this to lower arm and we'll be using this later. By duplicating this, we know that they're going to meet up properly when we put them together. So lower arm. And we'll just ignore the lower arm for now. We'll just move that out of the way. And we're going to continue working on the upper arm. The first thing I'll concentrate on is getting this little area here modelled. So we're going to go into face mode. And we can see that if I select these faces here, it's also going to select them at the back, which I actually don't want now. So we need to turn off symmetry. So we'll go into the modelling toolkit and just turn off symmetry for this step. So I'm going to select the bottom face there and the top face. And we're going to go Control E to extrude. And then I'm just going to use the thickness to take it to about there. So in my case, that's a thickness of 3. Then at the back, I need to select all of the faces. With those faces selected, I'm going to press Control and E to do an extrude. And I need to get the offset right, so I can't go plus because that's going to turn it inside out. I need to go minus, and I'm following the blue line here. So let's just see where that needs to be. It looks like it's okay at about minus 1.3 for me. So I'm happy with that, that'll do. And then I'm going to extrude again. And I'm just going to make the thickness, we're going to go in this direction like that, and I'm going to go well into the shoulder. Then I'll press 3 to make sure the shape looks as I expect. It does. You can see that it's rounded out here, but at the back it's a bit peculiar. And the easiest way to solve that is just press delete, and you'll see that that will round it out. So this is now mostly done. We just got to find out where we want to crease the edges. So we're going to go into edge mode. I'm going to double click this edge loop there, hold shift and double click this edge loop. Those two. And then what we'll do is go into mesh tools, crease tool, and we're going to crease those all the way. We want a fairly hard edge there. And then those edges there, that one, and that one. So you can see that's going to go all the way around. I want to harden that as well. And then I'm pretty sure that that one and that one, these here. So I'm pretty sure it's everything apart from just the ones at the edge. So I'm leaving those. And we'll harden that out. That's not bad, but I do need to do some work on these. That's not exactly what I'm looking for. So we're going to just select those and we'll do the ones on the bottom and decide how rounded I want these to be. In fact, I don't know if I do want them to be rounded. I think we're just going to leave those hard. Yep. So that's good. That's the upper arm done. Now we just kind of need to repeat the process on the lower arm. So we're going to go into face mode. We're just going to move along a little bit here. In fact, let's go into object mode first. And we need to, oh, what have I got selected there? That's crazy. Undo that. Just select this and we're going to move it basically into place, which is going to be there. And then we're going to get this face here. We'll extrude it, Control E, and then we're going to add some thickness to it to get that to kind of meet up there. That should do it. Oh, no, that won't do it. Undo that. That's crazy. Just that one, Control E. And then we'll add some thickness again. That's better. This is why we always check. So that looks like a pretty good join there. I'm happy with that. And then I'm just going to grab these faces here. 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to move them along a little bit so that they're going to be inside the next piece of arm. And then I'm just going to delete that to keep it round. And then we'll press 3 to see how that's looking. Not bad, but clearly there's some creasing that needs to go on. So we're going to go into edge mode, and I'm pretty sure that one there, that one there. So all these going around are going to want to be selected and creased. Okay, so I've got all 4 of those. Let's just get our crease tool back. And then we'll harden that. Yep, that looks pretty good. But that's making it clear that these here also want to be creased. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. Let's crease those. Much better. 1, 2, 3, 4. Crease those. Yep, and I do wonder, let me just crease this top and bottom here. That one and that one. See what that does. Oh, yeah, I might keep that actually. So that actually creates kind of a rounded joint. Let me show you. So we'll pull this out. That's rounded on the top and bottom. I think I'm going to try and repeat that with these. So let me just go into edge mode. And we'll uncrease these ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to go into our crease tool, which I'm just going to select from over here. And uncrease. Do I like that? I might uncrease it a little bit, but not all the way. That's kind of nice. Okay, back into object mode. That looks okay. And then we'll pop this back in place. That's basically the upper arm completed, or the upper portion of the arm. Now we need to go onto this big heavy looking part here, which I think I'm going to use a cylinder for. So we'll go for a new cylinder. And then we're going to just bring this out here, scale it up a little bit so we can see what we're working with. And then we're going to call this L_lower arm 2, because there are 2 parts that make this up. I'm going to change the subdivisions axis to 4. No, 8 is what I want. I'm then going to rotate it by 90 degrees on the Z axis apparently. So we'll type 90 in there. And that is a pretty good start. So what I'll do now is get this into place. So that looks pretty good there, and I'm just going to scale it down a little bit because I'm just kind of lining this part up here. Then into face mode, and I'm going to select all these faces here, and then you can see that there's a bit where it flares out, so we'll move those faces to there, and then we'll scale them up. Nice. Then we'll extrude those faces, Control E. We'll add a little bit of thickness to it to bring it to about there, and we will set the offset, and that you can see is pretty much created that part of the arm. I'm happy enough with that, and I think I'll just end by creating a bit of a socket for the wrist to fit into. So with that same selection in place, I'm going to do Control E. I'm going to add a small offset, Control E again. I'm going to go backwards on the thickness, and add a small offset again, and then we'll just press 3 to see how that comes out. Pretty darn nice. So what I can see now is that there are, when I smooth this, there are going to be a couple of changes I need to make. So I'm going to go into edge mode, double click on this edge, and I'm going to scale it up. Yep, I like that. Double click on this edge, and I'm going to scale it up, and I think I'm going to move it along. Something like that looks quite nice. Okay, so that creates that part of the arm. Back into object mode for that. This is starting to come together. We're going to need a wrist, which is going to be a sphere, so quick sphere. We're going to plop that in place, bang it about there. I'm going to call it L_wrist. And then it's just a case really of, oh, hang on, let's just knock the subdivisions down to 8 by 8. And I'm going to rotate it so that the pole's sticking out. So I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees on Z. And then I'm going to scale it into place. So I'm going to press 3 so I know how this looks when I actually smooth it. Looks like it's going to be a pretty good fit. How does it fit there? Not quite. So let's just make a couple of small changes. So it looks like it is fitting into that socket. That's not bad. Yep, that'll do there. And now we just have the hand to do, which, believe it or not, we're going to start with a cube for that. So, new cube. And what we will do with this cube is move it towards where the hand lives, about there. And I'm going to have to make some use of my top view for this one. So what we're going to do is just get this to about the right dimensions, like that. And we'll have to add a little bit of height to it there. That's good. And what I think I'm going to do just to help me refine the shape is I'm going to add an edge loop with the insert edge loop tool, no, the multi-cut tool. And if I hold control, it should let me choose where I want to put this edge. I'm going to put it about there. And then into vertex mode, what I want to do is just select these vertices here, and I just want to move them to about there. It's just going to refine the shape a little bit, make it look like it's a bit rounder. That's kind of nice. Okay, so that's going to be the bottom portion of the hand. Then what I'll do is create another cube to represent kind of the fingers. They're all going to be one piece, and I think I'm going to do it as 2 separate pieces as well. So we'll drop that into object mode. I'm going to get another cube. Let's get this roughly where it needs to be. I'm going to get it to about the size and shape that I want. That looks pretty nice. And then we're going to get the height and the thickness correct as well. And I'm going to have this not quite as tall, because the point of this is that it's the next part of the hand, so I want it to be a little bit smaller really. And then into vertex mode, and we're going to select these 2 vertices here, or all of the vertices on the end. There you go, you can see. I'm going to use my scale tool to just bring that in there, and I'll probably just use my move tool to bring that up a little bit like that. So that's that first part, and then what I'm going to do is, let's just make sure I'm naming these. So this is going to be L_hand1. This one's going to be L_hand2. And then we're going to duplicate this, move it to here. This is going to be L_fingers, I think. And then the shape of this needs to be refined, so we're going to go into vertex mode and do that. So let's bring this down to about here. Let's move this one up to about there. Okay, this bit here is going to go there, and this one's probably going to help me round it out the most to about there. How does that look? Not bad. I think what I'll do with the end of the fingers here is I'm just going to scale them down a bit to thin it out. That's pretty nice. Back into object mode, and then I'm going to use this bit just to give me something to work with for the thumb, which I'm going to do out of 2 pieces as well. So let's duplicate this, Control D, and we're just going to move it here for now so I can rename it L_thumb1. And then we need to do a bit of work with this to get it to do what we need it to do. So we're going to scale it in, change the height. And then we need to work with the vertices and get these into place. So we'll put one there and the other here. That's not bad. And then we're going to follow the kind of contours that we've got of the image. So that's going to give us our first piece of the thumb, I reckons. And then I'm going to duplicate this one more time. So object mode, Control D. Let's move this to here, and this is going to need a little bit more refinement in vertex mode. So that one's going to go there. This is going to go here. This little bad boy is going to go there, and the final is going to go there. And then if we look at it in this sort of view, that's not bad. That's pretty hand-like. It's just going to need a little bit of guidance with the smoothing now. So back into object mode, and let's see what's needed to make this look like a sexy hand. So we'll press 3 on this. Okay. We're going to go into edge mode, select those and those, those and those. You could probably work this out by yourself if you haven't already. I think you're getting the gist of this. So it's going to be into crease tool, and then decide how much you need to crease all of these edges to get the result that you desire. So let's go for that. That was pretty nice. And I do want to crease that a little bit. And then just these here, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just crease those as well, so that looks like it's going into the hand a bit. So I think that looks nice for that one. Onto this one, press 3. We already have our crease tool on, into edge mode. For this one, I'm just going to select all the edges and crease them up until they've got a bit of a bend on them, but not too much. Same for this one, into edge mode. Press 3. Let's crease them all, and then we'll just bring it back in a little bit. And then probably these two I'll crease even less. That looks nice. Yep. And then we've just got 2 pieces of thumb to do. These will be pretty much the same thing that I've just done. So we'll press 3, into edge mode. I'm going to select them all, crease it, and then dial it back a little bit. And then the same with this one, into edge mode, crease. Oh, it's not creasing. What's going on? Oh, I need to press 3. There we go. Crease, dial it back a little bit, and then for these 2 at least, we're going to dial it back a little bit more, and that's going to give us our hand. Lovely. Okay, we're almost done to wrap up this step. We just need one more piece, and that's going to be the shoulder, which what we'll do for that is we're just going to duplicate this bad boy here. So Control D. Let's get this into place and sized up. So we're going to move it to about there. And then we're just going to make sure that it looks right in this view. It should all be centered because we haven't really moved much off the grid. So let's bigificate it. Push it into the socket. How's that looking? I think it needs to be a bit bigger. We don't want to kind of overfill the socket. It'll look weird. That's not bad. It does suggest that we need to do a little bit of work on the socket on the torso, which I will come back to. But for now, I think that looks pretty good. I think I just need to move that up a touch to line up there. I do think we can probably move that up a little bit. And maybe forward a little bit. Yeah. So actually what I'll do is I'll leave that as it is for now. But as we finish the arm, we'll move it all together so that it fits in the socket a little bit better. Okay, that does it then for this arm. Next will be the leg. It'll be a little bit easier, I think, because we can reuse parts of the arm and we don't need to make as many pieces for the foot. So we should be pretty close to done after we've got the leg on. Right, let's move on. I'm able to continue making these videos thanks to the ongoing support of my amazing Patreon community. If you'd also like to support Game Dev Academy via Patreon, then check out the link in the description below. Thank you.